Can't be more excited to have a tremendous guest today. Well, I guess we could say Reverend Dr. Rodrigo Cruz, my good friend. And he's got that doctor and the Reverend. My friend Rodrigo, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Ryan. Thank you for having me here. Thank you to all of you for joining us today.
Absolutely. And Rodrigo and I met probably, I don't know, I mean, we're getting older there. So 10 years ago or whatever. And so let's just start with this. We got 15 minutes to share some wisdoms of nuggets with our audience. Rodrigo, tell us a little bit about your family and friends and just how special those things are to you.
Absolutely. Happily married to my best friend.
Yeah.
Have 5 kids.
Yes.
16, 13, 10, 7, and 2.
It's very quiet at your house.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what's more terrifying, my 2-year-old driving, a car toy, or my 16-year-old driving in the streets.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. They're equally a flip a coin, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But that's why we do what we do, right? To be able to experience life with them, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Absolutely, and I've been blessed. You see some of these magazines from you, but for years, and he is my go-to. He writes Chaplain's Corner for us, and always shares faith through a lens that we all want to hear, not in a judgmental way, but in a loving, caring way of God, and that means so much to many. What would you say right now, Rodrigo, in terms of mental fitness, spiritual fitness, physical fitness, especially coming with 24 months of a pandemic, that people might benefit from? Of going, I'm not really working, I'm not really working out, I'm not really reading my Bible, I'm down, I'm depressed. What might you say to our audience?
You see, this pandemic, it has been a journey, right? It caught all of us by surprise. We didn't know what it looked like. And some of us adopted better and some of us adopted not as good at it. For me, the first couple of months was just, okay, I can use some time to relax,
right.
To take a breath, to stay home, etc. And then finally discovering that
it didn't descend.
Wasn't that well, right? I'll tell you this story. Last summer, we took me and my wife, our kids, down to Orlando, to Universal, to the theme park. And I sat next to one of my kids, and we were doing a roller coaster. And a couple of times, one of the employees had to come and shovel the little belt in me.
Yeah.
And I was barely able to breathe. And I was sitting next to my 15-year-old, and I said, I can do better for him. I have to do better. If I want to take my 2-year-old in 15 years to the same place, I need to start doing better. So, since then, right, I have lost 65 pounds.
So you look great. It's important now. Even I started this year and I've not done that, but I was like, I'm not getting any younger here. And if we're going to, we can't just talk about it. We got to actually do it.
Yeah.
And that's just one part of our life, but that's something we can control to a certain extent.
I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer that if you change nothing, nothing's going to change.
Amen.
There's not much I can control about, the economy or politics or things outside. I can control what I put in my mouth.
So did you start adding exercise to your fitness, or did you start cutting back on certain foods?
Yeah, the first thing that I started doing was really changing my eating habits.
Yeah.
Right. I love tacos, man. I love chicken wings. I love pizza.
Yep.
And so, okay, I'm 39 years old. I cannot envision my life without pizza, right?
Well,
so it wasn't about food restriction, but it was, I can eat half a slice versus 6 slices.
I hear you.
Yeah. So
when it's that food you love, is portion control.
It's portion control.
Yeah, maybe we're going to have a food show here, folks. We might look for the sequel to this. But no, I understand, and I think it's looking sometimes. If I have a pizza for me, I love pizza. I feel like I need to eat everything in front of me.
Yeah.
I might not even be hungry, but I'm still eating it.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of discipline, I guess. So to your point, right?
Absolutely. And then the second thing is, for us that we have kids at home, or even those who are growing, you want to chase your kids or your grandkids.
You got to be the change.
You better be the change.
Well, and I've seen my own kids, whatever, or things or quotes or stuff I put out there. And if you say it and don't do it, people are like, "Oh, there's a guy that wrote this on Instagram. Where's that guy?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." Yeah. So it's we all fall short and do that. But well, tell me, let's jump in a little bit to the Net Church. What a story that has been. I know you and your team planted that, but now how much has that grown?
We have been blessed by the support of the community, and really by the niche that I think we've been trying to meet here in the Gwinnett area. There's so many great churches from all kind of flavors, right, that are doing an incredible work. When we moved 6 years ago, now going this summer to Gwinnett County, was as a part of a multi-ethnic family when we have, in my household, 4 different races.
Right.
And this idea that I do believe someday we're going to be in heaven together. I don't think we're going to be segregated, like the Mexican guy goes there, the Chinese guy go over there. Like, we're going to be together. So why on earth we don't do it in here, right? So can we be part of a community where we all can experience God? So we started in our living room, then we moved into, Parkview High School,
Right.
Go Panthers, and then eventually move into our first facility in Lilburn. Right now we're doing ministry in 4 locations.
Wow.
But it's really not about, exponential growth in critical mass. It is really about trying to address what we call a critical mess, the brokenness in the community.
Yes.
How do we address food insecurity? How do we address, housing
Real things.
instability? Yeah.
Real,
How
where
do
the
we-
rubber meets the road.
Yeah. How do we come alongside of people that while they may need spiritual health, they need financial health, emotional health.
That's going to keep them alive for the next week.
Absolutely. How do we address their lives holistically more than just
Holistically. And that's the thing. I think that's where, and I'm not going to get into other churches, but what I remember you saying to me in the very beginning, and I got 10 years on you, so I'm really getting serious about that fitness. So 40 is, so 40 is a young man when you turn that. Don't just ask me. I'll tell you how young it is. But in all seriousness, I remember you saying something like, when I see churches, oftentimes they look all the same, but when I go to the soccer field, it looks completely diverse and different. Like your heaven example, like why? I'm like, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. And so I saw the idea from the beginning, but the most important thing has been partnering with other people and doing things like, I remember they're like giving people food or lunches or helping them or finding housing, because people, you can tell them to read their Bible and pray on it, but if they don't have enough to eat, I'm not real certain they're going to do that first, right?
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Feed me.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll listen and see where I can plug in. But if I'm hungry and I don't have any money, that's probably not going to listen so much.
Correct. It's like parenting, right? I mean, you can tell your 2-year-old what you want him to do, but if his needs are not met in some ways,
He's not going to do it.
if his voice is not valued, right? If his life is not in order, you're just not gonna go from here to here, right?
Yeah. And so I tell you a long time ago, it's funny is the difference from your head to your heart is not that far, but it can be quite far.
Absolutely.
If you think about it logically. Well, let me tell you, let's talk about this. What are you, talk about some fun for 2022. I mean, you got anything you're really looking forward to, or something fun with your family and you're going to do that you're, I don't know if it's 40s this year or what it is, but anything exciting that you think, 22 is the year, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, so I'm turning 40 this year.
All right, young man.
So me and my wife, we're looking at, what it would look like.
Okay.
We're still debating if we do a trip by ourselves or if we bring the 7 of us, which it can be really pricey.
Yeah.
And also, we haven't found so many people that want to watch our 5 kids at a time.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
It's tough. Somebody will say, I'll take the baby, but I don't know if I want to take a teenager.
Right.
But we're looking at, hey, maybe if things really, get open in a way, can we go to Europe and
Sure.
and tour? Actually, I have a passion to see what the history of the church looked in that place. 2,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago, and how can we learn from the past to not make the same mistakes?
I love that, and and I'm hopeful for that too. I will tell you, we took a trip recently, and I took all 3 of my daughters, and it was a trip of a lifetime, but it wasn't relaxing. It was
a trip.
I had a lot of people yelling in my ear about what I was doing wrong. Yeah. But that's keeping it real. But yeah, no, it is. I had a previous guest a few weeks ago. We were talking about keeping your faith, and then your spousal relationship, then being a dad, and then being a pastor and a community leader. It's a lot of roles, and for anybody listening out there, he nor me or any other guest you've seen have all the answers. It's trying to keep things in priority order and have balance, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah.
And too much of anything, if too much pizza is too much pizza.
Yeah.
And I mean, trust me, you're talking to a guy who loves pizza or wings or whatever. Yeah. But at the end of the day, some of those disciplines, or spending time with each kid or with your wife or with your church or with your friends. I always tell people you get 24 hours a day. We don't get any more or less, and it's something we got to take very seriously.
Absolutely, and make choices, right?
Right.
So often people ask me, so what are your hobbies? Right? I'm like, well, my hobbies are my 5 kids. So
it has to be for you, right?
Being in the sideline of whatever sport they're doing. 3 of my boys play football, and they're passionate about that. So one of the things we're doing is every fall we take a trip to a new city to to see a football game.
Oh, good.
So we're hoping this year we're going to Lambeau Field.
Oh, awesome.
Hopefully there'll be snow and we'll have a blast. I don't know if I can handle that, but I'll give it my best shot.
Well, no, you were in the warm weather before you came to the United States, because you were in. That's where you met your wife, right, in Mexico?
Yeah. I
what
told
a
people I'm
story.
from the south, like
Yeah,
way south.
That's a
way,
good one.
way south.
You're like, well, I'm from Atlanta. You're like, no, more south.
Yeah, more south than the border. So yeah, I'm not made up for cold weather,
Yeah.
but I'm looking forward to the experience with my boys.
Yeah.
That someday when they have their own kids,
They say, hey, we did that with
what
Dad.
I did it with my dad, and they can hopefully reproduce.
What you need
that
next
with them.
year is have some of the games we had this weekend. That were,
Oh, my
I mean,
goodness.
tell me, I know you and I love sports, but I mean, I told my wife, I'm like, she goes, why can't you sit down? And I was like, and this might air in a couple of weeks when you see it, audience, but I'm talking about all those games from that weekend. You know, I'm talking about the field goal games.
Oh,
and she's taking a picture and sending it to all my kids. Look at Dad, he won't sit down. I'm like, don't talk to him. You know, but that's those memories right there. And you know, and as I talk to our audience and talk to you, Rodrigo, people a lot of times say, you know, well, hey, you know, I don't have that relationship with my kids now that they're older. And they're like, what's the secret? So it's like, it was time investment.
Yeah.
Not to suggest they always want to spend time, but if you're there and you're listening, sometimes the best talks are to and from the game.
Yeah.
You know, you get in the car and it's not like you missed a tackle. It's something's about, hey, I'm your dad.
Yeah.
I'll coach you up, but let's go get something to eat. You
Absolutely.
know? And that is crazy. As my kids have gotten older, they'll flash back to that. And those seeds have been planted, like the Bible. You know, those little seeds that I'm like, oh wow, I did say that. I do remember, but I didn't know it made that big an impact.
Absolutely. I mean, I think if something we have learned from the pandemic is that, you know, time is not guaranteed.
No.
And the fragility of life is a reality.
Absolutely.
So how do we make memories in all spheres of our life, right? You go to work in whatever your field is, you know, make it count, enjoy it.
Be there, be
present.
present.
Be present fully. If you have family or if you're in a season of life that you may not, you know, maximize your life.
Absolutely.
Because we have no idea what the future is going to look like.
Well, you know, it is so true. And, you know, in terms of the future, you know, and as your count, you know, I know you pastor people and people come to you and, you know, like you're the genie that has all the, you know, like you can foresee the future, but, you know, what do you hope for here in 2022, you know, of maybe people's, I mean, we've had 24 months of this stuff, and I've got to think, I know I've seen a lot of anxious people, depressed people. It's really at home. And I don't know for the little kids, they've been wearing masks for 2 years.
Absolutely.
I mean, your little ones probably don't remember not wearing a mask.
That's all he knows.
And so what's that going to look like in a few years? And I think we're going to need to be more sensitive to that than ever. Would you agree that we're going to have to be kind to each other?
Absolutely. I think you never know what, you know, the person next to you, what kind of journey they've been living, right? I think you have heard probably this phrase, we all have faced the same storm, but we're in different boats. So what it looks like to be kind to somebody else. And one more time, at the end of the day, you can only control what you're going to do.
Right.
Somebody else is going to do something that you will disagree. Somebody's going to post something in social media that you will not like. But
and we're still human. I mean, we get those emotions but there's that sports 24-hour rule.
Yeah.
That's a good rule of like, just think about it.
Absolutely.
You don't have to fire off and out of it. And a lot of times that's a good rule.
Yeah,
right?
You're totally right. Timeouts are a blessing.
Timeouts are a blessing for adults.
Yeah.
I need to be in timeout a lot.
Absolutely, me too. And the point is, okay, can we live a better world for the generations to come? And the reality is that I do believe we can.
Yep.
It's not going to be easy. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take courage. It's going to take kindness. But we can live a better world for those.
And this generation, like people a couple years younger than you up to a couple years older than me, this is a small generation, and you know, we got a big one behind us. Mm-hmm. And you know, this legacy we're creating, you know, when they're on their phone 24 hours a day, we all use our phones, but remember the time when there wasn't that. This is important.
Yeah.
It's not to say the phone's just great. I mean, you can get everywhere, but you got to build relationships, and I just think that's so important. Well, I guess in terms of finalizing. So what are you thinking? We're not going to spill the beans here. So you think you're going to, what's your over-under pick prediction of going the wife and you trip for 40, or is it going to be all 7? What do you think is going to happen?
I'm putting my money in just me and the wife.
I'd go with that one.
Yeah.
No. I could take one, but we're moving people out.
Oh my goodness.
We've done our time.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Wouldn't trade it for the world. But you do get to that part where you're like, man, my kids are older, and I'm there to guide, but I can only teach so much because, you know, they start growing up.
Absolutely.
You know? Well, I'm going to finish this up. Reverend Dr. Rodrigo Cruz, Rodrigo to me, thanks so much, man, for coming on the show.
My pleasure, Ryan. It is my pleasure. Thank you for what you do in the community communicating us and investing in us.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Well, folks, you've been listening to Our Town, My Town, Your Town. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you again